Hello everyone. We are going to be stalling a little bit, letting everybody get online as per usual. I hope that everyone's home safe and sound and enjoying finally a sunshiny day. I think it's probably been, well, I don't even know, a couple weeks. Tyler wouldn't know because he's always in the barrel room. He doesn't know if it's sunshiny or not. So we do have Becca here, and she'll be telling us all your questions and comments, relaying them to us, so we'll be able to, well, either answer a question or laugh at a joke or whatever it may be. And Tyler is working around us. He's helping us with the electrical issues. We've had a funny day with the electrical. We lost our Wi-Fi, just got it back up. We were tentatively going to do this on Chris's back porch, but as it worked out, we'll have to save that for another day, which I think is still probably,
we should do
that anyway.
It'd be fun. We could maybe incorporate some grilling.
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
It'd be fun.
Would there be any drinking involved? No.
I don't drink.
Yeah, maybe. We did get some exciting news from one of my distributors that on June the 24th, it looks like we're going to have a really special guest here, a master sommelier. For those of you who don't know, there's less than 300 master sommeliers in the world, and we're going to have one live with us tasting through some of the Jackson wines. More details to come. This is very raw information, haven't really gone forth with much because it's new and exciting news, but I can assure you I'm very excited about that. Larry O'Brien is the master som. He is a wine genius in my opinion. I was fortunate enough to spend some time with him in Columbus, Ohio at a 3-day class, and it was a real treat. So
yeah, that's amazing that we're gonna have that opportunity. We're gonna learn a lot, and he has a world of knowledge.
So that means y'all have some tough questions prepared for him. We gotta grill this guy, right? So
how do you stomp a master?
Yeah, it's not easy. I can tell you that. They eat, sleep.
I'm gonna ask him a lot of questions about cheetahs.
Right. Anything that he doesn't know.
Yeah. I mean, he's not gonna get one single wine question from me. We'll see how smart he is.
Oh man, is that good?
God, it is.
Becca, how many people we got on board right now?
14.
14. Okay, we got a ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, while I have the chance, I want to thank everybody for the support. It's been a challenge. I know for everybody, the last thing you want to do is make things hard for your customers. We realize that a lot of you are really going out of your way to help support us, and that means the world to us. You are helping us more than you know, and we do appreciate it quite a bit. We also started deconstruction. It wouldn't be construction, it's demo. And so the kitchen has been somewhat dismantled, the dining room's in ill repair. We've just been moving stuff and getting ready for a big renovation. So with that being said, we haven't really been able to produce a lot of food, just enough, I would say.
Just enough. Mm-hmm.
And with your support and patience, we hope on the other side of this will be a much better suited facility for what we want to do. So there's just still a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. We're trying to get everything, I guess, our ducks in a row, probably the best way to put it. So there's, like I said, with multiple companies that we're having, it's everybody's feeling this COVID. It affects all departments, and we know it affects your lives, and we appreciate you hanging in there and supporting us. Really does mean a lot.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, what do you think? How many are we up to now?
We're up to 21, and I have a comment that says that they're having some trouble hearing, so
Okay.
speak up.
Who is that person?
Shannon Myers McDonald.
Shannon Myers McDonald, are you hearing us at all? We'll see if she responds. So we had this problem last week. Someone didn't have their volume on at all. If she can respond, is she hearing? Shannon, are you out there? Can you hear us at all?
Scott says that he can hear us fine.
Okay. Will you actually send her a message? Because if she can't hear us, she's not going to do us any good for us to talk about it. Tell her that she needs to check on her side. We have other guests that can hear. We are in a kind of not the best place for sound, and in the barrel room it is a little bit different. But even when the restaurant's not rocking and rolling, there's still a lot of ambient sound. Being an urban restaurant, we have sirens coming by and things, so it's a little better for you guys if we're down here.
Mm-hmm. It is.
She said that they have the volume all the way up, it's just super quiet, but I have a lot of other comments that say that they can hear fine, that the picture is a little blurry.
Okay. Well, we will work on the blurry as well.
I will. Everyone that I'm seeing says that they can hear it. It's just the one.
Okay.
Well, Shannon, I'm very sorry.
I'll try to take it up an octave.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Is just
I don't want to necessarily yell at you, but
is the picture blurry for everyone, or
how many people are seeing a blurry screen? Can we get a little feedback, please? Just so Becca can figure that.
Okay, Tamisa said it's the streaming.
The streaming.
So maybe the Wi-Fi connection
Poor
isn't
streaming.
as strong, which would explain the picture and the volume.
That could be a possibility with Shannon's connection for sure.
And the picture. Yeah, I have a couple comments that say it's blurry.
Are you sure they are not drunk? Can we?
Well, you've got 3 or 4 of them now, so. I mean, hey, they took wine with them. So.
That was quick.
Did y'all drink all the wine before we started this? Is that why it's blurry? Well.
Yeah, everything is saying that it's going back and forth from blurry to clear.
Let's try one, just for fun. Let's switch it to the selfie and see if that, because we've had success with that.
Yeah, y'all just hang in with us.
Yeah.
Hang on for a second.
We're just gonna try a different camera.
They got a nice view of the
See, I told you we're in the barrel room.
Yeah. Okay. You can't read the pretty sign now, but we'll see if that makes a difference.
We switched our camera because this is backwards on Facebook Live. They don't flip the image, so it's mirrored.
All right.
So I brought this all the way from Chicago, so I thought, I want people to read it, right?
They did.
Well, we got some that are already halfway into the. Right? We have some that are already halfway into the rosé.
Oh,
I guess we need to pick up the speed.
There's the blurry.
Okay.
Blurriness is coming halfway through. Is this helped at all with the blurry?
No.
Not at all. So technical difficulties obviously here. It's probably Wi-Fi. We were out all day. They were working on it. They got us up and running, but apparently we're not at 100%. So apologies there. I don't know what else we can do.
I don't even.
Yeah.
We'll just have to drink our way through it.
Michelle said it's still blurry and actually seems worse.
All right, well, let's switch it around then.
Well, switch it again. Bear with me again.
Then we'll before these people finish all their wine, it's only 9 minutes in. How can you be done with your wine?
Well, it's possible.
The funny thing is, most of the time, we can't get people to sit down by 6:20 when we're doing it here live or in person rather.
Okay. There's that turned. I don't know that that'll help the picture quality.
Well, this is what we're gonna have this go around. Hopefully y'all can hear enough of what we're saying to make it out.
All right, they said flip it back and roll on, so let's go.
Here we go. We're gonna roll this way. Welcome everybody. So glad you could be with us. Great to see all those familiar faces today. It was really nice in the sunshine even. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see that when we walked out to hand out your wines and your beautiful hors d'oeuvres. So we are going to start with the rosé. If you haven't already started with the rosé, and where better to start with rosé than the place for rosé, Provence. Now, if you don't know Provence, it is not exclusively rosé, but practically exclusively rosé. Well over 80% of every single wine made is a rosé that comes from this region. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, if you want somebody to make you a great rosé, you want to go to the place where they specialize in it, right? So it would make sense that if you wanted a great cab, you'd want to get one from Napa, et cetera, et cetera. So this is, by definition, what a rosé should be, I would say. We've had a lot of great rosés from all around the world, don't get me wrong, but let's tip our caps here to Provence, that through the lean years where White Zinfandel destroyed the reputation of the rosé as a product, which, you know, that's a whole nother story. But now Provence kept going strong through all that period. They took the hit on the chin while global sales dropped. Now the world's come back around, realized that, hey, wait a second, this isn't White Zinfandel. These are great wines. And now they're getting back into them. Great food wines.
Tremendous food wines.
And sales globally have gone up 40% 2 years in a row. And they're going to keep going up because they're this good. And there's something to, it's a great way to start start your morning. You could start your morning with them, but to start any
Goes great with toast.
Right, start great with toast. It's a great way to start any meal gathering, particularly this time of year. How perfect was it that the sun finally comes out
right
on the day that we are serving rosé? So there was something special about that. So, Chef, you want to tell them what we're having as our food pairing with the beautiful rosé?
Well, yeah, I mean, thank you. Got some great oysters. These are called Olde Salts, and this is from the Chincoteague area of Virginia, the island. These are a native oyster, one of our favorites. Very high salinity on these oysters. They're just delicious. We've been doing a lot of North Carolina oysters lately. So we're really, the Virginia oysters are coming in strong right now. We do the Rappahannock's, but the Olde Salts are really one of my personal favorites. They have a great balance because, again, they have the really high ocean salinity to them, but they balance really well. Just a great oyster. Did a crab topping with this. We took North Carolina crab meat from the Wilmington area, mixed it with a little bit of mayonnaise, an egg, a touch of panko, and baked those off. So you got a delicious topping that's very rich with the egg and the crab, and so that's going to give you some good body to balance all that salty oyster as well. Just a real, and of course, you know, shellfish and rosé. I mean,
yeah,
you know, and you get the double dose. You get the crab and the oyster, so you just really can't go wrong.
Yeah. So in the glass, to wash down that beauty that Chris just described, you have 50% Grenache, 50% Cinsault. Cinsault isn't one of those grapes that a lot of us know about. It is typically a blended grape, and it's typically in the Southern Rhone. We see it a lot. Also, we see it in Spain. If you don't know, France and Spain are, they're joined at the hip, so to speak. So there's a lot of grapes that are versatile in both of those countries. You'll see them grown in both sides of the border.
And Spain makes great rosés too. Yeah.
Right, and Grenache is also known as Garnacha in Spain. So that grape thrives very well in this whole region, and we are very grateful for that because we get different interpretations of the same grape, and that's why I love rosés, because you're talking about, we've had some killer Grenaches, and we've had some killer Garnachas in their full, dark, rich tones when they're done with more skin contact for weeks, rather than maybe the skin contact on this might be anywhere from 16 to 22 hours roughly. This color is absolutely gorgeous. I do love it. Also notice here the amount of fruit in this wine while still being extremely dry. This is the kind of wine that I think just about anybody could like. I think people that like sweet wines could really appreciate this for
Absolutely.
the fruitiness. Be a great way to get someone off the training wheels that might be just, hey, I only drink sweet wines. This might be a good way to do it.
Well, it really comes across as sweet without the RS. I mean,
That's the
you're
residual
right. I mean,
sugar. Yeah.
The fruit is so bright. But it's dry on the end, of course. But I think on the front of the palate, it's fruity enough to be a great crossover wine. And just a great, and like you were saying, I mean, this is when the wonderful time of year when you're getting together and coming over to the house, and regardless of what you're going to have for dinner or open later, have a bottle of rosé for your visiting time when you're first getting together. It's a great starter. Not that it can't follow through, but when you're
Yeah, I would say a rosé could easily go throughout a meal.
oh, absolutely. But
Particularly if you're talking about one of these backyard cookouts.
backyard things, yeah.
This would be great refreshment for a fatty sausage, like if you were doing brats or kielbasa's, or even, for that matter, even if you're doing a good old-fashioned American hot dog, this would work. It'd be a great refreshment. It would really help kind of break down those proteins. Obviously, or maybe it's not obvious to you, but it's obvious to me how well this would go with barbecue, especially the southern kind of sugary style. It will, although this wine is dry, I think the fruit to it would actually be really, I think it would pop. I think it would work well.
Yeah, and the vinegar and the sweetness would pick up on that well. But I mean, it's hard to go wrong. There's some chicken on the grill or some seafood kebabs. I mean, it was just
Any kind of grilled vegetable.
tons of vegetables. We're gonna
Sooner,
accentuate
those
this.
tomatoes will be here before you know it, and it would be lovely to have some with this. So, when you're thinking about summer, think about this wine. Again, we picked these wines also with you in mind as far as value. You can have this wine, $14 a bottle, absolutely beautiful. I would put this up against any price point rosé there is.
Wow,
I mean, it is
easy.
smooth, it is easy, it is flavorful.
It's got it all.
It really does. And there's always, for balance purposes, you should, I think, have just a hint, just barely in there, of a little bitter undertone at the end. And sometimes they can be a little too much in that, in a lot of rosés, and I don't think you see that here at all.
No, not
It's not enough to make you think about it. It's very subtle, but your palate knows it because it's very balanced. Anybody got any questions out there?
I really enjoy rosés throughout the year too. When we get into the darker rosés in the fall and winter, and there's just it's a shocking variety.
Yeah, there's quite a
style
disparity
out
for
there.
sure.
Everyone's getting into it, and maybe it just seems that way. I'm sure everybody. I mean, people have been making rosés forever, but
They got a bad name though.
They
for a
do,
long
but-
time, and not rightfully so either.
But what's the great thing about it now is because people aren't stocking a rosé. I mean, you go into a wine shop, you go into a restaurant, you come here, you're going to get a gamut. You're going to get a lot of choices and styles and regions, and I think it's an exciting time to enjoy rosé for that reason.
One of the things you'll hear about rosés is they're really meant to be consumed the year they're released. Here you have a perfect example of how you can enjoy a great rosé 2-3 years after release. There is some value with a good rosé aging a few years. They become a little bit more complex, I would say. Draws out, for me personally, I get some more interesting notes. It's not so fruit forward. There's a little bit behind it, a little bit more. I feel like the minerality pops a little bit more. Even some more of the earthy kind of tones to it. And rosés are designed to drink right out of the gates, don't get me wrong, but there are rosés that age, and in my opinion, it's kind of it's a tastier evolution. It gets a little deeper. And so if that's your style, which, if you like to drink like I drink, in other words, this is a great example of a somewhat aged rosé. Now, you're not going to want to age a rosé 8-10 years. Tyler found a rosé that he had made. What was it? Was that 10 years? That's Jamerson. It was 2008. What color would you say that was?
Orangish brown.
Orangish brown. So
Earth tone.
let's just say we did not drink that. So yeah, rosés do have they have a time limit. We don't really know what that is. You don't want to push it too far, but there are great ones, 2, 3, 4 years old. I highly recommend. So I hope you like this as much as I do. Oh, and this, I was looking all over for a wine tool earlier, and Becca's like, why do you need a wine tool? They're both twist off. So, hey, it's, you know, I'm making it easy on you here. You can easily open these bottles. So we're gonna get into our red blend here. Right after I enjoy this last 2 sips.
You left out the part of that story where I looked all around the restaurant for a wine tool first.
Oh yeah, by the way, everybody was looking for a wine tool. Like I said, the dining room's in total disarray. Everywhere that we had things in particular places, they've all changed. So it has been a challenge, and we are losing our minds a little bit. And gosh, we miss people. I'll be honest with you, it's weird being in a restaurant that doesn't have customers in it.
We've had our small little tribe here for 8 weeks. How long has it been? What year is it?
Too long. Too long.
And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll go hours and we'll reply to questions no one asked and still get them right.
The voices in your head.
So, well, we're getting there. We're getting there.
I got a glass for you right here, Charlie. Now, if you are moving on, one thing you can really see here is, wow, what a color difference. We are talking about a massive color difference, and this is not to be much of a surprise, shouldn't be, but it is absolutely beautiful. That makes me happy. We did a tasting of it. This was 2 weeks ago, and had this, and I was really, really pleased with it. I think it was certainly something to think about for summertime reds. Typically, your blends are going to be a better choice for not being quite so heavy. And here is a perfect example. That little bit of Cab Franc in there is nice, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it really shows. You have the Syrah, Grenache, Cab Franc. You have some big powerhouse grapes here, but they are being from, the Dioc. You're talking about the very southern part, southeastern part of France, and the very Mediterranean style. So this is not like a Bordeaux Cab Franc, Merlot. It's not that kind of style, or a northern Rhone Syrah by any means. But that's a good thing, because this is what we really want to aim at. We talk about seasonal drinking, and this would be what I would consider a seasonal red. This is something that you could thoroughly enjoy in hot weather, and it's almost thirst quenching.
Very. Actually, I get a little bit of, without the spice, jalapeno.
I like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good one.
There's absolutely pyrazines in here. The green pepper, poblano, jalapenos, that compound, absolutely beautiful. You have fruit here. You have some earth, and a beautiful, soft, rounded finish. Very integrated tannins that are, they're not clumsy. They're not going to get in the way of what you're eating. Just really nice. And what was that beautiful cheese?
Oh, it's the, not yet, I have one more sip.
It's an optical illusion. He's nursing this little sip of rosé over here.
We have worried guests.
I'm off
Yeah.
my game today, so you have to
Yeah,
forgive
he hasn't been right today, and I appreciate you calling him out.
I'm warming up. So you have a gorgeous cheese, and this is from Prodigal Farms. Prodigal Farms, as you know, one of our favorite creameries in the state. We feature their cheeses all over the place, at the tastings, at the chef's table, on our ONS boards. We've had them here for a dinner before. We just think the world of them and their approach to not only farm making, but to cheese making as well. And this is one of our favorites. We really love this cheese. It's called Fool's Gold, and it's a cider brine brushed cheese. So as the cheese is aging, they take a local cider from one of the breweries near Durham, and they brush it with that as it ages, and it just gives it the, not only the outside does it give a protective barrier, but as it seeps into the cheese and really changes the character of it. It's a semi-soft, but this is a very ageable cheese. So I mean, you can take these and the whole blocks, which of course we buy our cheeses in blocks, and it ages well for months. And as a matter of fact, it keeps getting better. Of course, I mean, it becomes more pungent, but reminds me a lot of like the I'll think of it in a minute. And it reminds me of another cheese we like.
We like a lot of cheese.
We do. It's true. We like a lot
They're
of
cheesy.
But it's just great. And it's a perfect wine cheese. And I know that may sound silly, but I think for red wine cheeses like each other a little differently than a lot of people think you can just have cheese and wine, and obviously that's true.
Because you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want, and it shouldn't matter if you're having a good wine or you're having a good cheese. They should like each other. But of course, since we're such nerds, we try to pair everything with everything. And this is one of my favorite red wine cheeses. I think that it's a little richer. It's a little more complex. The way it sits. If you take a little bit of the cheese and bite, and take a few chews and just kind of let it sit, the nuttiness really comes out in this. And just like we were talking about wines, cheeses are very complex, and they go through layers on the palate, where you can get some brightness from the milk at the beginning, and then you get some of the tones of the cider, and then of course you get the lingering nuttiness, which I think is just fascinating in a quality handcrafted cheese. To see how it changes. It's not the same from the first bite to finish. And the temperature obviously plays a large role in that. Where we like a softer temperature cheese, and it really allows it to show what it really is. And then of course you got some little candied pecans there with your cheese, which again, we want to accentuate the nuttiness of the cheese. With the nuttiness of the pecans, we got a little bit of salt, a little bit of egg white on there, a touch of sugar. Excuse me, but not too sweet. It's not dessert sweet, just enough to lift it up, and with the natural caramelization that occurs when candying these, I just think really adds another dimension to the wine.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't help but get out of my head Sambuca on this. I'm getting like a watered down kind of the licorice. If you like black Sambuca, which I do, too much. But
the sickest I've ever been is being with you around Sambuca.
it's good for you.
You're
though.
a
It's
terrible
digestive. It helps you. It helps your whole system.
I'm sure that does in moderation.
What does that word mean? So yeah, so I'm getting there's liquor components here, or licorice rather, and it really does. It reminds me of kind of, if you've ever taken black Sambuca and you chilled it and strained it, chilled it on ice in a shaker, and that little bit of residual ice melted Sambuca residue in the shaker, which I always come back to. I'm like, I don't want to waste those few drops. So I taste them. That, I feel like that's in there. That is completely from experience. You'll never read that on a description on a bottle. So that's just me sharing my palate and my love for Sambuca, I guess. But that's what wine is really about. It's really about you, hopefully, drawing from experience, having memories of the people you were with, food that you had, holidays, celebrations, and just really good memories. We've talked a lot about Thanksgivings that we've had. Some crazy family stuff tend to happen, but there was always great memories, even with all the chaos. And there's certain triggers, I believe, in beverages that kind of, it reminds me of that time. And I think that's pretty special about wine.
Well, and too, I think even one flavor, you say, well, this reminds you of black Sambuca. Well, 5 other people will say, well, this reminds me of fennel, or
Sure.
this reminds me of star anise, or
Oh,
this
yeah.
reminds me of Twizzlers. You can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Twizzlers. Twizzlers all over this.
So, everybody's personal experience, even picking up on the same profile, they're
Mhm.
going to go to a different description.
Sure.
It really leads back to the same.
It's in the
center,
same genre.
exact,
That genre of flavors. That reminds me when I first started, training to be a som, and took a few months or so off from work and spent every single day with Dan, the som, and he actually worked. He built some of the components of the Twizzlers manufacturing line, and he gave me like a box of Twizzlers, like yay big. And when you said Twizzlers, that was a great
Right
call,
there,
because
right.
I ate a lot of Twizzlers. I had like hundreds, if not thousands of them. But it was it's another memory component. So if by chance, Dan, the man, you're out there watching, thinking about you
Hey,
and,
Dan.
and your Twizzlers. So we miss you tremendously. Well, is there any questions out there as we kind of ramble on about flavors and experiences? Do you guys have any stories about, what something triggers in you? Is there a flavor profile or something that reminds? Heck, maybe there's something in there that reminds you of, hanging out with Kristen at the chef's table or something like that. But we're here for any questions or comments. I know we've got a couple of newbies out there. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I really hope that Shannon's been able to hear this. I know that was going to be a challenge, and hopefully we're not so blurry that you got seasick or anything like that. Well, without further ado, and if there's no questions or comments, I guess we'll release you back into the interworld as we'll sit here and clean up. I want to thank Tyler for being here and Becca for being here, helping us out. Like I said, it was a technically challenged show today. And we've decided to call this a show, right? Is it the Ed and Chris show or the Chris and Ed show?
It's the Ed and
The
Chris
wine
show.
guys.
The
I
Wine
think.
Guys, yeah. I'm
But
pretty
Shannon says that they hear us.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
great.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
At the end.
That's good. That's real good. So, yeah, I think the Wine Guys, I'm pretty sure that's taken.
I think it is.
That's it. Oh, yes. Oh, one other little thing that I forgot to tell you about. On our last wine, that is also only $14. And, yeah. How much are you going to buy?
My wife's watching. Let's not talk about that.
Right, offline. So, that being said, both of these wines are going for a mere $14 a bottle. Well, only today. No, not seriously. But if you did want to order some, you can call Becca, Ed, or Haley at the restaurant. You can email at ed@Old North State Winery. You can always text me because I know most of you have my phone number. You can also email Becca@OldNorthStateWinery.com or Haley@OldNorthState. How long will the...
Well, it's hard to say how long our renovations will take.
You're good.
But we probably ought to all get ready for 3 weeks to a month. Because we know, we will be dealing with some serious construction. Right now, we're doing the prep work
Demolition.
for that construction. So it's hard for us to say because, a lot of factors play into that. But I would probably go ahead and try to settle on into 3 weeks to a month.
If you had, let's just say we had been open today, you wouldn't have been able to hear the person sitting beside you for all the racket. So it is Tyler, he's working on, what is he not working on?
Poor Tyler,
He almost killed himself this week, by the way.
3 times.
I think he may have. I think he has 9 lives. I think he expended one of them.
Poor Tyler has made the mistake of letting everyone know or see and understand just how good he is at so many things. And of course, when people start to know how good you are at so many different things, they use you for all those different things. And Tyler is not only is he have one of the sweetest demeanors you will ever find in a human being, who's always willing to help, but he's also so very good at so many things. And so, but the poor boy gets worked to death because of that. But wine-wise, I mean, we did a
We
lot
just
of
bottled
bottling. We bottled almost
He just stepped out, but I
eight-
think we bottled
8
over-
pallets.
Yeah, 8 pallets.
And so a lot of the summer wines there, a lot of muscadine. We did Riesling a month ago, 3 weeks ago. So a lot of wines are
Yeah.
coming in. We have juice coming in for some of the other blends in the coming weeks and months. But there's been a lot of activity down here getting our wholesale stock back up. You know, where shipments going around all multiple states. A lot of North Carolina, of course, but going all around. But yeah, poor Tyler.
He's
always
also
been-
got a lot of stuff, aging and blending. So there's that. So he's hasn't really given us information on what's next, but we do get to taste occasionally.
Maybe
and so
the
we-
PG,
Maybe,
maybe.
but that was not supposed to be said.
I didn't say it.
He didn't say it. So in other words, stay tuned. But Tyler's plenty busy. We just don't know what he's up to all the time. But he is awesome. He helps in so many ways. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? So for ordering, does everybody get it? You know, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to us at the restaurant. Becca, you got something for me?
A few questions.
Oh, sure.
And they're just coming in
Oh,
so fast that I
she
can't
can't
write.
write the questions fast enough. She's gonna blather them out.
Yeah, we're just gonna go with it. Cameron Gray asks, what's the top secret stuff coming to us after the pandemic? I'm assuming
Top
he
secret.
meant renovations.
It's top
They're still under work. They're top secret.
We can't tell top secret, but thanks for the question.
Wade Hampton Hatcher wants to know if, Ed, you're going to be running with the flag anymore.
As a matter of fact, yes. Actually, I had a bit of an injury compounded by a second injury. When I actually took the flag to run in Chicago, so I didn't want to break the streak with running with Tommy. And so I took my flag, we ran simultaneously while he was running here, I was running in Chicago. And for those of you that haven't had a chance to talk to me about that, a lot of people are like, you're gonna run with the flag through Chicago? Like, isn't that dangerous? I'm like, why? I didn't understand it. And I mean, a lot of people don't have a misunderstanding of what Chicago is. It really is sure, yeah, there's 40 or 50 people that get shot on the weekends, but those are very isolated areas.
It's a big town.
It's a big
It's a
place.
big town.
My stepfather is a policeman there, and I don't worry about him because I know that he's in good hands. Obviously, there's all kinds of craziness in the world right now, but I do believe that flag can help galvanize. And what I saw when I was running in Chicago was people were very much for it. They were happy. They were honking their horns just like they do in Mount Airy. They were waving. They were yelling, "Hey, bud," and "America," and all the things that they would do just
Did they
right
yell
here.
Freebird?
No, I didn't get any Leonard Skinner fans, unfortunately, because that would have just really made it. But anyway, long story, but I hurt myself running, and I pulled a muscle in my glute, aka my booty, and I couldn't run. I could barely walk, as a matter of fact. But that did not stop my mom from continually to put me to work the last 2 days I was there. And so when I got home, I was in somewhat of pain because I was in a car for 13 hours sitting on it. And then a couple days later, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling better. And went out and ran and made it worse. And then I was putting up a birdhouse in a tree and fell out of the tree. Yeah, I know. And landed straight on my booty right where I'd already pulled that muscle. So then I had a bruise about yay big. So I've had to take off a couple weeks for my own health reasons, but I do intend to carry that flag as long as I can stay healthy, I guess. So
Well, there has been a flag walk.
yeah, I did, that's true. I did walk with the flag, but and I can walk. It's just the running part that's becoming a little more difficult. But I do appreciate you asking about that. That is something that, you know, I try not to be political, try not to be, you know, I don't want to split anybody. I want people together. And I just think that we really we need more of that now than ever before. Everybody's got their opinions. You know, we just gotta get on the same page as like that we're out for each other, not to ruin each other. And it's, I mean, me saying that right now, what's going on in the world, it sounds ridiculous, but
No, it doesn't.
I still believe in it.
That's
and
what we need.
I'll keep doing it. It just seems like it gets worse every day, but I'm not giving up, and I will keep doing it as long as this body will let me. I will always be an American, I hope. That's a blessing.
You haven't put in for dual citizenship.
No, not yet.
And can I just say thank you for asking about that, because, you know, we would never get tired of hearing these injury stories. So,
Right.
thank you.
Moving on to the next question, which Tamisa has offered to sew some uniforms for this next question. No. Think bigger.
Oh,
Scott has asked, will there be any German wines on future Thursday wine tastings?
that is awesome. I'm so glad you asked. Absolutely. And I just sat through a 3-hour seminar on German wines. Rebecca had to listen to me.
And I had to hear the cliff notes for it. Thank you. Y'all are hitting on all cylinders.
So these two are just loving me talk about German wines and how to pronounce them. Yes, I'm really high on
Is
German wines.
Schumacher?
Yeah, I always have been. But, you know, they are certainly world-class wines. I'll be elated to share those beautiful wines from that beautiful place in the world. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a really special winemaking region, very small, highly engineered. And really that what I mean is they make it a winemaking region. It's really not set up for it. It's too far north, but they're intelligent. They've figured out how to make it work. And there's some fantastic wines up there. And with the ever-changing temperatures in different parts of the world, you know, as you know now, you should know by now that they're making world-class bubblies now in Great Britain because of, you know, the change in our climate to where it's getting warmer in certain places and cooler in others. But the shift, as you will, and that's also going to help German wines as well too, to get a little bit more ripe. So beautiful winemaking region, delicious wines, and I'll put that certainly at the front of my list of things to do.
So we need to start thinking about, do you want like
Schnitzels?
do you want some weirdo chef's table food, or do you want some classic German food with these?
Right.
We need to figure this out.
But you
because-
have to be in full uniform.
Right. Lederhosen.
Yep. And Tamisa has.
Yeah, maybe I can borrow Jan's.
And he has them in 6 different
He
colors.
does. Jan has
Every
probably,
color you could imagine,
Yes.
with purple pants to match.
Right. Maybe we should. Well, yeah, let's
We'll work on
talk
that.
about that's great. Thanks for asking that. That's a great question. Any other ones, Becca?
Not that I'm seeing, no. A lot of comments on everything else. but-
Does anybody like the wine?
I do. I like both. I think.
I
they're
mean, we're
both
all
good.
enjoying it, but what about you people out there?
Well, and it's funny too, like, because we didn't switch glasses. You know, so the bowl was still really cold,
Yeah.
and it still had a little of the residual rosé, and so the first few sips, were one. I know we tried this the other day, but
We're also in the it's at least 15 degrees, 20 degrees
Yeah.
warmer upstairs. We're in the barrel room.
but as this has warmed up and bloomed, it's really softened. It's gotten a lot more buttery.
I
You know,
like
'cause
that.
it was a little
the buttery texture.
It was a
not
little
flavor.
stringent at first, well, with
Yeah.
the big green
Yeah.
fiddly flavors, but boy, it's really rounded out well as it's warmed up, and I bet it's just great with it.
There's a sneaky amount of acidity in this, which I really like. And the reason why I like is acid in my wines makes my mouth water. And when I'm eating, when your mouth is watering, your food is always better. Anything else,
Absolutely.
Becca?
Everyone loves the wine.
Everybody loves the wine, yay! Well, I'm so glad that y'all could share it with us. We wish we could see you, but I'm glad you can see us. I know we talked about doing some Zooms. We're still working on that because we thought about doing it simultaneously so that the Zoom people we could see them. And then we would still have this Facebook Live out there for, we're trying to cast the net and really let the world see what we're doing here. And that really helps having that video. I guess we could do Zoom and just make it public. I just don't know if that's.
You can't do it public.
Yeah, I
You
don't
have to
think
send
so.
an invitation to every person
Yeah.
who signs up.
Yeah. So
Which is not difficult. My God, the whole world's doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not
Just
rocket science.
let me just ask while y'all are on here, does everybody that's listening to me, do they have access to Zoom? Are they Zoomers, or do they understand, or they not so much?
Well, what's great about Zoom is you don't have to have an account to be invited to a Zoom meeting.
Michelle brought up the meeting rooms through Facebook
Oh,
rather
yeah.
than Zoom.
Yeah, meeting rooms.
We talked
Keep it on
about
the same
those, but we didn't
platform.
really get to the.
We haven't done our diligence on that.
We'll
We haven't used
experiment.
that. We'll have to do some experimentation. Absolutely, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. That's a good idea. But anyway, we want to make this easy on y'all, and we hope that we can continue doing this. And like I said, as things are crazy, not just outside of the restaurant, things are crazy inside our restaurant because of everything going on.
And we've talked about, and we don't want to rule it out. We talked about maybe doing some private tastings and things like that where we can control, everyone's environment. And that may be a possibility. It certainly is not upstairs because it really is we're not ready to receive people for a while. But kick us around some ideas. Maybe we can do some.
Yeah.
Do something.
We are listening to you guys.
We
I
are.
promise.
So, maybe we can come up with some creative alternatives to get together and, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
but we're a ways off upstairs, and so even when we're all ready and society's ready, we're logistically not going to be able to pull that off upstairs in our environment for a while. But that doesn't mean we're not up to some different scenarios.
Right, and I know Scott had mentioned before that, maybe taking the show on the road to an individual's home.
Mm-hmm.
And that is certainly something that Chris and I are no stranger to. We've done our
long
fair
time.
share of off-site fine dining experiences, and that is something that I would imagine you would entertain, right?
I would just say yes.
Yeah, so we have to talk through things. That's really what we have to do. We just have to, we're just in uncharted territory. I'm not accustomed to having to worry about where my breath goes, I mean, other than having bad breath, but I'm not trying to make someone sick because of my breath. So we're trying to be very mindful of everybody. Everybody has different viewpoints on, how we gather. And so trying to make it good for everyone. I think, again, there's another polarizing thing in our country right now is, people they just want to go on as business as usual, and the ones that no, we can't do that at all. And then, somewhere in the middle, I think is the right answer.
Well, I think we should drink more wine and eat more food and be
Something.
kinder to one another, and we'll figure it out. And this little snapshot in time is just that. Our lives should be a body of work, not the rumblings.
Not 2020.
Well, even a
Yeah.
quarter. Not
Yeah.
even a quarter of it.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, we'll figure it out. If we do the focus on the good things more than we focus on the bad things, we'll get through this.
But we're still excited about food and wine. So as long as y'all are, we are, we'll find a way to make it
Absolutely.
happen. We'll get together in some form or fashion. And at everybody's comfort level. But right now, this is a very comfortable level for everyone. And
It's fun.
I think it's
light,
been fun. It's
it
been
is
fun.
fun.
And we got him out of the kitchen, which is amazing. You don't ever get to talk to this guy or ask him questions.
You're welcome.
He still can't throw tomatoes at them, but I can. Any other questions, comments? Oh, do we have something, Becca?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, Michelle asked if there's any thoughts on a chef's table virtually.
There have been thoughts on the chef's table virtually. Thoughts. Execution is an issue right now.
It would literally have to be a cold chef's table, and everything would have to be cold, and which that wouldn't bother.
He's no stranger
It
to a
wouldn't bother.
challenge.
It wouldn't bother me, but I mean, I just don't know how.
Or we'd have to do it at somebody's house.
Which we can do, but I wouldn't. I don't think I want to do 8 courses on the road.
True.
I think we do a modified 4
Yeah.
or 5.
Yeah.
There have to be a minimum too. I mean, it's hard to procure all that. We've talked about a lot of different scenarios, and it would just depend on, if we could do 6 people together in one place. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it virtually. I think the problem with it would probably end up being more of a cooking class than a chef's table.
Yeah.
Because if you
Getting you those dishes
and traveling from here to there with them, even if we dropped them off, I mean, there's gonna shift and shuffle
and like you said, unless they're all cold, if there's anything warm,
and
you
we're
have to
really
assemble
gonna
them.
have to, and this would not be, even if like, what if we just did, even if we did a Thursday night tasting and cooking class, and we cooked 3 things on the grill, and you picked up the raw ingredients on Thursday afternoon, and you cranked up your grill or whatever at home, and Ed and I could stand around the grill with the same format, and we could do a little cooking class and drink wine and pair it. But I worry about with something as intricate as the chef's table, having to talk you through cooking it and plating it, which I'm not saying we couldn't do. That would be fun. It would just be really intensive.
Mhm.
And I think you would have to be prepared to do some work, and it wouldn't be as like what we've created,
Wouldn't be
which
as
is where
fun,
you
I
sit and you
guess.
get pampered, and Ed not pamper you, and you have all these wonderful things
Spoilt.
created, spoilt, rotten,
Spoke.
and both are great. So we want to get some feedback on that too.
But I'm glad that I really appreciate you all expressing interest in things and staying honest about that. Just because we don't have the answer now doesn't mean that we won't have the answer
Mhm.
soon. And we're trying to figure everything out, and I don't give up on whatever those things are that you're interested in. We want to make them happen. Trust me, this is what we love to do. We love to entertain. We love to serve people.
That's what we were put
And
on
share.
earth to do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right? Just kidding.
No, it's a blessing.
It is.
Sometimes it's hard.
Sometimes it's hard.
But 90% of the time, it's a blessing.
We really do love it. I'm just giving them a hard time. Well, kids, if there's nothing else, you can always email us, text us, anything like that. If you thought of something later tonight, please, if you like any of these wines, please reach out. I'll be happy to get you some. They are very delicious.
Well, I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't have a little shameless self-promotion. We have lots of oysters available this weekend. I can do them raw. I can prepare them for you. We have beautiful soft shell crabs from the coast of North Carolina, Currituck Sound. Gorgeous time of year for soft shells. Just a lot of fun stuff happening with our family meals and our market and our things to go. And I'm always available. Listen to custom orders. Do whatever I can for you on that. So if you get tired of cooking or whatever, just keep us in mind this weekend. Be happy to help you out with anything there. So thank you again.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night.